Hey guys, what is up? It's Elite here. I just want to take a minute while I'm warping around trying to find these event sites to talk about a topic that I hear brought up a lot. As a recruiter, as somebody that tries to help out new bros, I hear a lot of people asking, do I need an alt? Do I need an alt to be successful? Should I have an alt? What's the deal with alternate accounts? So I'm going to take a minute or two to talk about that in relation to a few different points and focusing on some of the main careers. First of all, at no point do you ever need an alt to be successful in this game. Just keep that in mind. It's not necessary. It might be nice in some things, but you absolutely don't need it to be successful or to do all of the things that you want to do. So first off, let's talk about new players. And by new player, I mean somebody with less than 10 million SP. That means you've been playing for only probably 5, maybe 6 months. I would advise against an alt, personally speaking, because you don't really know what you're specializing into at this point. It would really just be another place to spend money, and you don't have the power to plex yourself at that point, in my opinion, for the most part. Unless you're really good at market PvP or scamming people out of money, you don't really have the in-game ISK to fund yourself. And also, there's really, like, it's hard to explain, but really you haven't started specializing in anything. So unless you know exactly what you want to specialize into and plan on sticking with that for a long time, an alt's probably just going to confuse you and make the game more frustrating for you. Next off is middle of the road players, which is really anything between the 10 million and I would say 60 million, maybe 70 million skill points. An alt can help. That's probably a good place to start thinking about it, because you've kind of decided, hey, this is kind of what I want to do with myself in this game. And so maybe an alt could do some of the more tedious tasks, like keep them in high sec and market trade or something like that, or have just another mining toon, I guess, if mining's your thing. But it's a good spot to think about. I kind of want to get into capitals, but I don't want this toon to, oh man, my internet's slowing down here. You might want your main to specialize in sub-capital PvP and your alt to be a capital pilot, or vice versa. It's something to consider about, but I don't think you need it. And like I said, you don't need it at any point in the game. So in end game players, that's probably where you might want to pick up something to like keep something in high sec for incursions while you're doing stuff. End of the game is 60 million or above, when you basically have maxed out one specialization. For the most part, you're almost done with your main objective. So now you might want to move on to another one or be more effective. So now let's talk about the individual careers. First off, industry. It's a good idea, or a good thought, to have another toon for industry. It means you can build more jobs, you can research more blueprints, stuff like that. You can have him in different locations where you might specialize him in building, I don't know, capital ships. So you keep him in a structure that is specialized towards capital ships, and you keep your other industry toon in one for subcapitals or ammunition. And they can just be in separate buildings. You don't really need to worry about moving things around. You just keep their stuff in one spot and your other guy's stuff in his spot. Mining is probably the most alt-heavy one. I think I know somebody that has 26 alternate accounts from mining, which is really pathetic in my opinion. But mining's a good place to think about getting an alt. And then, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You need an alt to be in another barge. You want him to be in an exhumer. You want a boosting alt that just sits in an orca or rorqual all day. That's probably the place where you're going to get the most return as far as percentage based on having an alt, although it is one of the lower income, and CCP keeps hitting it with a shovel to say no, you can't make money while mining. The next one to bring up is market PvP. This one is really cheap to have an alt, because you can just get a bunch of alpha clones to sit in the main trade hubs and check prices for your main that's running around and your freighter or whatever, trading through regions. That's something I hear a lot of people doing, and it's really profitable. So that's another. Mining and market PvP are definitely the ones that are, if you're going to get an alt, this is probably the area to get an alt in. PvP is really hard because it takes time to train up a alt to do it. I have it. My alt is capable of flying a Guardian. Both of mine are. Are there here? Yes, there is one here. Sweet. There's 19 people though. I'm gonna have to contest for this, but it'll be fun. Yeah, you can do it. It's hard. Multi-boxing in combat is really difficult and requires a lot, almost ADD, to be able to handle it. Doable. I do it when I can, just because sometimes it makes the game a lot more challenging and it's more fun that way. There's somebody here. Yep, there's people here. There's a scorpion here. What the heck? Yeah, I'm just gonna move on. Not worth my time. And then another one that apparently nullsec and lowsec groups look for this for sinoing in things is having an ult that's capable of capitals, like I mentioned before. So you have your main tune in combat, or a subcapital ship. If the fight escalates, your ult's already in a capital ship ready to sino in and help out the fight as it escalates, which apparently a lot of null groups look for. Who's all here while my grid loads in? Anybody? Is there really no one here? Oh, there's no one here. Sweet. Mine then. And so as I was saying, null-sec and low-sec groups look for that a lot. I don't think it's super important though. They need line members more than anything, from what I understand. Capital fights are becoming less and less fun, and people are going for super cheap stuff. So that's that. The last one is PvE, such as high-sec mission running, combat sites in low, null, even high-sec, wormhole space sites. It's helpful, but again comes the challenge factor of paying attention to two different screens. Or in wormhole space, the idea, like I lost 2 rattlesnakes a while ago because I was an idiot and ratting in 2 rattlesnakes. Don't judge me, alright? You know, it was a stupid mistake. But overall, I think ults can help you, but they aren't necessary to succeed in this game. I've heard a lot of people say in this game you can't succeed unless you have at least one ult to do things, and I don't think that's true at all. And you definitely shouldn't be looking to get an ult until you can support him or support that tune, I think, via plexing, unless you have a good job and you're willing to throw money at the game. That's your call. But with plex prices being so high, and with a lot of the AFK things being nerfed lately, I don't think it's super important or even super effective to have an alternate account. You can get one if you want, but as a new player, I would highly advise don't do it. It's probably going to burn you up faster, and you're probably going to have a lot less fun with this game. It's going to feel more like Spreadsheet Simulator 2017. So I hope me rambling on into a microphone while trying to find something to do has given you some advice or some insight into if you're deciding on getting an ult. You're watching this because you're looking at getting an ult, I'm sure. So hopefully it helped. But if you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more like this video or have ideas for future discussions and or video ideas, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And of course, if you want to see more from me, hit that subscribe button. In the meantime, I will see you later.